the order of importance of what you need to focus on and what you need to master in order to have permanent fat loss. Hello and welcome to the Core Podcast. We're your hosts, Aline Keller
and Shannon Polson.
I'm a precision nutrition certified coach.
And I'm a NASM certified personal trainer for over 13 years. We support women 30 years old and over to pursue health through realistic nutrition and fitness strategies. Our main passion is to help you find that smile when you look in the mirror, find freedom when you eat, and joy when moving your body.
Make sure to subscribe for your weekly dose of doable health tips, practical advice, and so much more. It's the health education you wish you'd had.
Today, Aline is going to chat about a lifetime fat loss pyramid, the order of priority for lasting fat loss.
Wow, let's just stop there. You said it all.
I love that.
All right, so I'm going to preface this saying that there is a short PDF that you can download. There's the link on the description of this episode if you would like to have a visual for this, okay? Or you can just hop onto the blog. There's also a post there to accompany this. Anyway, so what is it that I'm talking about? So everybody asks every time, a new client comes on, and I'm sure, Shannon, you have the same questions coming to you, but what am I supposed to do? Like, what do I do? Because you've tried diets before, like you've tried different things, and then now you're like, okay, so, I hired you, you're my coach. What in the world is different, and what's your secret? So we don't have a secret. We're very transparent in that we don't actually have secrets or magic pills or the one thing that nobody else is going to tell you. We will tell you everything that you need to know.
Yes, no secrets. So true. There is no secret.
Pardon?
There is no secret.
There is no secret. I wish there were. It would be a lot easier to, do all the things. Anyway, and to get that six pack, if only it were the secret to a six pack in 6 minutes. I mean, you'd be a billionaire, and, we'd all be around with six packs. But there isn't. So there is a pyramid. This is actually developed by Dr. Layne Norton. Okay, this isn't something that I came up with. So this pyramid is the order of importance of what you need to focus on and what you need to master in order to have permanent fat loss, because you know how to lose weight. That's not an issue. I haven't stumbled on somebody that has trouble managing their weight that hasn't lost weight before. You've lost weight before. The problem is gaining it back. So what do you have to do so that it sticks, so that you lose the weight and you don't gain it back? Well, there actually is an order of importance of what you have to focus on. So this whole pyramid, it's sustained on your behavior and lifestyle. What does that mean? It means that all the things that you work on, you have to measure them against your values. You have to measure them against what is doable for you. You have to measure them against what's important for you. So, for example, if it's important to you to not eat animal products, it doesn't matter how rich animal protein is. If this is a value for you, it doesn't matter if your coach puts in animal protein, you're not going to eat it. So that's one of the more extreme examples, but this permeates our entire choices when it comes to nutrition and fitness. What's important to you? What matters to you? What's a value that you have? And that's kind of going to inform the choices you make. So that is really the structure. Like it's what holds this pyramid up. And that all these behaviors that I'm going to talk about, all these things that we're going to talk about today, they all have to feed into this lifestyle, because for you to lose the fat and keep it off, this has to just become something that you do. This has to just be part of who you are. Now, if you haven't heard the Big Rocks episode, go back and listen to that, because that's something that you're going to realize here. Here we're talking about big rocks. And as we move up in the pyramid, you know, you have the rocks, you have the pebbles, you have the sand, and you have the water inside this pyramid. And not everybody's going to go all the way to the water, and not everybody has to. So lifetime fat loss, it boils down to something that can become ingrained behavior, something that's just part of your lifestyle. Now, it takes a little bit of effort, yes, but it shouldn't be more than other habits that you have. Like you brush your teeth. Of course, you have to put the toothpaste on the toothbrush and physically brush your teeth, but it's just something you do. Taking a shower, yes, it takes effort. You have to actually take off your clothes, get in the shower, wash yourself, come back out. But, you know, this is just something you do. It's not like, oh my God, I need to find motivation to take a shower. Nobody looks for motivation to take a shower. You just take a shower. Right. So these things are, Shannon's here laughing at me. So these things are things that, you know, lifetime fat loss, there are things that just become a part of who you are and how you live. So let's talk about this pyramid. The base of the pyramid, so of course you're thinking pyramid or a triangle, right? The base is the biggest part, meaning that this is the most important part. And the further up to the tip you go, the less important these things are for fat loss and sustained fat loss. Okay, so the bases of the pyramid, the most important thing, this is essential, and this is why most people fail at dieting, is because of this one thing. Most diets are going to work on other areas of the pyramid before they work on this base, and that is why most of the diets you've ever done have failed, because the number one thing for you to lose fat and keep it off is sustainability and adherence. So your diet has to be something that you can actually do, something that you can actually follow. So sure, if I put you on a 1100 calorie diet, you're going to lose weight, but how many days can you actually eat just 1100 calories? That's not doable for pretty much anyone. So if you can't sustain it, if it's not something that you can do, it's just not going to work. And then anything else that you're trying to do comes crumbling down. So you need to find a diet, and we've talked about this before, you need to find a diet that you can actually follow. And this means that this is not an overly restrictive diet for you. This is not an elimination diet unless it is something that you really don't care for, or something that you medically can't have. This is something that you can do without giving up your social life, without giving up your relationships, without infringing on your work. So sustainability and adherence mean that you're finding a diet that you can actually do and that doesn't suck the life out of you. Okay. So for example, I don't care for alcohol. I don't like it. There's, you know, very few alcoholic beverages that I actually enjoy. And, you know, for a myriad of health reasons, I don't really care to drink alcohol. So that is not part of my diet. And that is absolutely sustainable for me because I don't care for it. And I have other reasons not to have it. Now, for some people, having a drink every now and then, it's an important part for them of their social life, or it's just something that you really like chocolate for me. I love chocolate. So for me to be able to adhere to a diet and for me to be keeping off the weight, these 25 pounds that I lost, I have chocolate as part of my life, or else it would have backfired, like it backfired several times when I took this out. So for example, if alcohol is something that you like to have in your life every once in a while, going on a zero alcohol diet, unless you have a legit medical reason for that, but we're not going into that today, you're not going to keep up with it because at one point you're going to eat it. And like my chocolate, I took out all chocolate. I was completely sugar-free for a while there. That's another episode we can work on, but it didn't stick. And I did gain the weight back because when I finally did eat the chocolate, I ate much more than any sane person should eat in one sitting for several days in a row. So sustainability and adherence are the absolute number one thing you need to think of when you are trying to lose fat if you want to keep it off for good. It doesn't matter what diet you do, it has to be something you can stick with, which leads us to the next ladder or ring or part of the pyramid, which is a calorie deficit. For you to lose fat, you have to be in a calorie deficit. And please do not convince yourself that calories don't matter or that not all calories are created equal, all these things that we hear. A calorie is a measurement of energy. Now, in terms of nutrition, different foods will have different nutrition profiles, which will be more or less beneficial to your body, or which will give you more or less energy, or et cetera, et cetera. But a calorie itself is just a measurement of energy. And for you to lose fat, you need to intake less energy than your body uses to survive and to live your day-to-day life. So that is the second step. After you find something that you can sustain and adhere to, you have to do that at a deficit. Once you reach maintenance, like we've also talked about before, once you reach maintenance, this number of calories goes up, but you're still eating the same way, you're just eating more. So lots of people think of a diet as this big thing that you do. And then once you lose the weight, you just stop all of that eating behavior and switch to whatever you did before. Again, that's not going to work, because unless you're doing something that you can sustain, the weight is going to come back, because maintenance, keeping the weight off, is nothing more than a modified version of what you did to lose weight in the first place. It's usually just an increase in volume and adding a little bit more calorie dense foods, but not a lot. So whatever you do to lose the weight, you have to do a version of that to keep it off. So a calorie deficit comes after this sustainability. So you find something that you can do for life, you put that in a calorie deficit. The next stage of the pyramid is exercise. Now, exercise, and we're going there, exercise is essential to health, absolutely essential for your health, regardless of your weight goals. It is extremely important during fat loss. Do you have to exercise to lose weight? No, but it is very, very helpful for many reasons we've already covered, and we can even talk about only this one day. And when it comes to maintenance, exercise isn't really negotiable. 70% of the people who keep the weight off engage in some sort of structured exercise. So if you want to lose weight, it's not essential while you're losing weight. It's just important and helpful. If you want to keep the weight off and if you want to be healthy, exercise is not something you can negotiate. So first, you're finding a diet that's sustainable. You're putting that in a calorie deficit. You're finding some sort of exercise. After that comes self-monitoring. Self-monitoring can come in different forms. And one of the reasons why it's so up in the ladder is because this self-monitoring, it changes over time. So when you are in a fat loss phase, there's a lot of monitoring going on. You're monitoring your calorie deficit, your weight, your lots of behaviors. As time goes by, this shifts. But people who lose weight and keep it off successfully, they self-monitor somehow. Most commonly through weighing yourself daily and observing the trend. That's the most common way to self-monitor, but that's not the only one. It can be through some sort of structured eating that eliminates certain things certain days of the week, or some sort of portion control, or flexible dieting. But or flexible eating, I should say, not dieting, but some sort of self-monitoring. It is absolutely essential during a fat loss phase. But keeping the weight off, you still self-monitor. You still self-check. What are you doing? Are your behaviors still in line with what you reached and what you want to keep doing? Now, these are I would say, the absolute non-negotiables. These would be in our big rocks illustration. These would be the biggest rocks in this pyramid. It's sustainability, caloric deficit, exercise, self-monitoring, or caloric balance once you reach maintenance. The next three are what would be more optional. The next one after self-monitoring is protein and fiber intake. Now, why are these important? Because these are the most important macros for you to track for your health and for nutrition purposes. If you're getting in enough protein and you're getting in enough fiber, chances are you're eating a good diet, if you are getting enough protein and fiber in, and you are monitoring your calorie intake, whether for maintenance or for loss or for gain, chances are you're eating very, very well. So the next ring would be protein and fiber intake. How much protein do you actually need? How much fiber do you actually need? And monitoring those and learning to eat enough. And this is a learning curve. Most people do not get enough protein or fiber. So monitoring this and learning how to eat enough protein and fiber, this is a learning curve that cannot happen while you are in a fat loss phase. It can happen, but it's very, very difficult to learn all these things at once. And that's why it's higher up in the ladder. You found something that's sustainable that you can do. You find your calorie deficit for fat loss and your calorie maintenance for maintenance. You're in a good exercise program. You've found a good way to exercise, move your body. You are self-monitoring. When all these things are working well, when you are able to do these 4 things well and almost seamlessly, then you can work on these other parts, and protein and fiber being the most important one. So figure out how much protein and fiber, and hitting that is going to do massive things for your health. The next one is, the next 2 are, most people don't ever have to even look at this, okay? It's carbs and fat macros. If you are getting enough protein and fiber and your calorie intake is on point, chances are you don't have to think about carbs and fat, because it doesn't really matter how you split carbs and fat as long as you're staying within your calories and you're hitting your protein and fiber. So carbs and fat, most people don't have to worry about that. That would be athletic performance, something to work on with that. And the last little tip of the pyramid is supplements. We've touched base on this before, but the fact is most people don't need supplements. We can do a whole episode on should you take supplements and which ones. But listen, until you can do everything else, supplements are a waste of money. If you're doing a diet that you can adhere to, if you don't know how many calories you're supposed to eat, if you don't exercise regularly, if you don't self-monitor, if you don't know how to track your protein and fiber, if you don't understand carbs and fat, and on the other side of our other rocks, if you're not sleeping, if you're not managing your stress, taking supplements is an absolute waste of money. So the supplements, that's like the last part. You've got other things under control. There's one exception, I would say, which would be fish oils. If you don't eat fish at least 3 times a week, it is beneficial for most people to take fish oils. But other than that supplement, there's nothing you need to worry about until you can master all these other parts of this pyramid. So there you have it. Master the base of the pyramid. Master 1 through 4, a diet that's sustainable, a calorie balance, exercise, and self-monitoring. When you have these 4 under control, then is when you start learning and playing with the top part of the pyramid, if that's interesting to you. I would say that protein and fiber should interest you, but this is the part of the pyramid that is a lot more negotiable, and you need to get through the other parts first. So there you have it, Lifetime Fat Loss Pyramid. Again, the PDF is there for you to download if you want it, as well as a blog post.
I wish people could see your arm movements when you got super excited about the pyramid. I like that. It's a very good visual. And so are you saying that like supplements would be the water in the bucket, like work on those 4 boulders first, and then, you know, the supplements would then be your water, trickle it in as it works and as it fits?
Because supplement, it even the name is there, right? It's supposed to supplement what you're doing. The items themselves, they're not going to do anything. So like greens are having a heyday now, right? Like, oh, greens, and take your greens. Okay. It's much cheaper and actually much healthier to just eat your fruits and veggies.
Yeah.
So, you know, do you really want to be spending money on greens if you can, you know? So these kinds of things, and like, oh, should I take creatine? Okay. Creatine is one of the most studied supplements. It's an amazing supplement. It's great for you. There's virtually no side effects, but it's only actually going to help you with anything if you actually exercise.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
So
yeah,
if you
definitely.
don't exercise, what's the point? If you don't exercise regularly, if you don't push yourself, or if you just exercise to say that you did, you have those clients, right? Like they're not really pushing themselves. They're just there to like rubber stamp that I was here.
Right.
Why take a supplement? You're going to spend what, $50 a month? And what for? It's if you're not exercising, it's not going to help you. So absolutely, yes. Supplements, you only think of them after you've got the rest under control.
Yeah. Well, and it goes back to a lifestyle, a lifetime lifestyle. Like, do you
Yes.
want to be spending $50 for the rest of your month for a supplement that you could just eat your grains, your veggies, your fruits?
Yep.
But I like that. And one takeaway that I had before we depart is just to remind people not to get overwhelmed. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it sounds like a lot and it is a lot, but to also know, like, think of it as, I like it, the pyramid. Like, start at the foundation, start at the base, get that figured out, and then slowly work your way up. Don't get so
Build.
overwhelmed by looking at the big picture.
Yep. Good point. Yeah,
So,
it builds on itself, right? It's
yeah,
you advance up and up. You're climbing this pyramid. Yeah.
yes, yes. So, but otherwise, great information. I hope people are really understanding how passionate you are and how we are of building that foundation first and taking it one step at a time. Look at the big picture, the long-term big picture.
And understanding that it can be a lot simpler than this industry makes it out to be. It's not
Yeah.
easy, but it
Mm-mm.
is simple. Yeah.
It's definitely not easy. If it was easy, we probably wouldn't be having these discussions. But I do
Exactly.
feel with social media and all of the static out there, it's a very busy, noisy world. It's making it so much more difficult than what it needs to be because
Yes.
they're roping you in all kinds of different directions. And not if you put it all together, none of it really actually makes sense. So,
Yeah, it is stressful. Do you see what I did there? I
yeah.
am sending us into next week.
Oh,
All of this can be stressful. That gives you a hint of what we're going to be talking about. So
yeah.
next week, Shannon's going to be talking to us about, are you stressed? What are 2 strategies to stay on track? Because again, it can be a lot simpler than it's made out to be. And you just have to go one step at a time, go, climbing that pyramid. And next week, we're going to hear some strategies to help you when you're stressed. What do you do? So we will see you then.